I think it was in a brilliant Italian side. I think that what's brilliant about them was that they stuck to their principles, their ideology, their style of play, and they didn't flinch. And despite Germany starting the game with such spectacular fashion, really getting at the Italians, they sort of kept calm, kept faith with their system, waited it out, and then they slowly started to get into the game and take control of the possession, getting their passes right, building up their play. And they stuck to them, they stuck to their beliefs, which is something that Germany should have done, because when they walked into this game, they changed their style to counteract the Italians. They cared more about stifling Italy than they did about playing to their strengths. Instead of exposing the narrow formation that the Azzurri play, they instead decided to boost the number of central midfielders and change the position of Ozil and put in Cruz. And I just think that worked against them, because I think if anything you've learned, especially from France and Spain, is that you need to stick to your style of football, and something that you've been developing over years, which Germany has, and so is Italy. And I love that before that, Prandelli came out and said, I'd rather play our football, and if we lose a goal, then I'd prefer that than us defending on the edge of our box. And he just said it would just be silly for us to destroy 2 years' worth of work. And Pirlo was magnificent. He was never shut down. Cassano was having one of those terrific games. And you saw, of course, I was quite happy about it, the typical move by Pirlo when he doesn't know who to pass it to, or when he's deciding the best thing to do, always takes it to Chiellini there on the left side. And of course, that was the opening goal, Chiellini to Cassano, brilliant cross to Balotelli. And I just thought, watching Balotelli cower as he waited for the last minutes to be played, and he was just so nervous. You could feel how much Italy wanted this. They really, really wanted this. It was a spectacular game, literally spectacular. I have so much time for Prandelli. I think he's a magician. I think he's just a brilliant man. And I'm going to be a woman about this, because I think more than a great tactician, because he is a great tactician. And I think he proved that, especially when he was with Fiorentina in the Champions League, and a particular game against Bayern Munich, which I thought they did so very well. He plays to the strengths of his team, and he knows exactly how to counteract his opponents. At the same time, it's simultaneous what he does. And with Bayern Munich, I remember Ribery and Robben had no idea what to do, because they were completely stifled by his Fiorentina side in the match that they won 3-2 at the time. And now I think with Italy, he's brought the best out of his players. He knows exactly what they need in order for them to succeed. He knows that Daniele De Rossi and Marchisio need to run consistently and obsessively so that you have Pirlo playing at his best. He knows that putting a rotating diamond midfield would bring the best out of Montolivo, who requires like-minded players around him, as well as help out Pirlo with his assists, and Cassano up top adding even more creativity. He's great because he consults the players as well about what they like to do, what they want to do, what they feel is the right path for them to take. Sort of before the Spanish game, he asked them, do you feel comfortable playing with a 3-5-2? Do you think that's the right thing for us to do? And they came to that conclusion together. He's just not your typical Italian coach who dictates things and has his followers listen to him. He's very open to what his players have to say. He likes listening to ideas. He's just a very modern coach in that sense. And what he's done with Balotelli is perhaps very telling, because despite him getting a yellow card after his celebration, he never looked like he was going to get another one. He's just been very mature in his dealings with the Italian shirt, especially after Bonucci covered his mouth in that match against Ireland. But Prandelli, as a woman, when I'm going back to that point, why I love him so much is because he really is just such a great guy. Everything he says, his speeches before his press conferences, in which he talks of the fact that he never focuses on the negative. He'll complain. He'll say we had 2 days less rest than Germany, but it's never going to deter him. He'll never dwell upon it. He's happy to sort of see the good things in life. He'll happily trek, for religious reasons. He walks onto the pitch and he looks up and he whispers a few things, and he's just a different type of man, a kind of man that you have to look up to, and a man who just solely on his tactical astuteness has taken Italy to the final. And this isn't a bunch of players that have stars the way that 2006 did with Fabio Cannavaro, Alessandro Del Piero, Francesco Totti, etc., etc. This is a side who, let's say, barring Buffon and Andrea Pirlo and perhaps Daniele De Rossi, it's not the most talented of squads. It's just a brilliant unit. And I think it takes a great man to do that. It's very hard to say this because the thing is with this Italy is it's influenced by Spanish football for sure, because they are a team that like to keep possession and they're very good at it and their passing accuracy is tremendous. But it's a more direct style of football. They are more direct than the Spanish. There is a little bit of pace in there. They do like to counter-attack. And I quite like that about the Italian game. For me, it's more interesting to watch. But they are facing a side that has just not lost. I mean, it keeps winning over and over again, and they're determined to make history by winning 3 on the trot. And oh God, Italy really needs to win this just for the sake of the neutral fans, if not for Italian fans, just because it's just time for another country to win something. But I am terrified because I'm eager to see whether or not they're going to learn from their mistakes from the first match and sort of play a more direct style. Not more direct, but I understand that they're going to decide to go with Fabregas again as opposed to Torres. And I think Torres created more problems for Italy. But this time we're playing with 4 at the back, which means that it allows us greater possession, possibly more control over the game. But you don't get that when you're facing Spain. You never get to enjoy the luxury of time and space and on the ball especially. So this is something that terrifies me. But at the same time, momentum speaks bucket loads. As much as Vincente Del Bosque won a World Cup, I think he does make errors, and I think they've reached the final perhaps without facing sides that have been eager to take them on the way that Italy was in their first match. So I think that's going to work against them. France sort of buckled and decided to field 2 right backs against them. Portugal had, 1 shot on target, something ridiculous statistics against them, even though I think they stifled them pretty well. Whereas Italy faced sides that were, let's say, more eager to get something out of the game. So they've had to battle. They've really had to battle to reach the end. And I think that could work towards victory, help them towards the end. But it's a tough game. But let's just hope that they keep their record and history repeats itself and Spain don't manage to beat Italy again through open play.